serious mental problems. Jodi would freak out all the time. I had quite a few of her friends call me and tell me that I needed to get her some help. We don't have a good relationship, me and Jodi. She would just totally flip out on me. And I had one of her friends call me in the middle of the night, call us one night and say, you need to get Jodi some help.
What do you mean she would flip out on you?
Just like call me one minute happy and the next minute in tears. Like she was a total different person.
Feel like you wanted to help her, but she wouldn't let you kind of.
Yeah, and she wouldn't ever tell me what she was crying about. But it was like a total, I mean, like something would snap and she would all of a sudden be in tears and call me back and, you know. And
is she on any kind of medication at all? Or?
No. Do they do a psychiatric evaluation when they do things like this?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. It doesn't come up in every case, but in her situation, it's something that'll probably happen.
And her friend called me one night and he said he even called some hotline to ask him questions about what she was doing. And he said, sounds like she really needs some help, but she wouldn't do anything. I mean, I didn't really bring it up to her. I thought if I got her up here where we could take care of her, that things would be okay.
Sounds like she really needed some help. Parents, if you have adult children or children with mental health issues, do not go it alone. Time for the Behavior Bureau. Back with my co-host Mark Eiglars. Joining the two of us, clinical psychologist Judy Ho, Sirius XM radio host Jenny Hutt, forensic psychologist Cheryl Arrett. Cheryl, I'm going to go to you first. I want you to talk about the flipping and flopping that we heard the mom describing in that tape, but I have no patience for any of this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm beside myself. The fact that we have people in Aurora, Colorado, in Newtown, Connecticut, with severe mental health issues, who I have deep empathy for them. When they're ill and they get help, we can help them. When they don't and they kill people, I got nothing. Cheryl, what about the flipping and flopping?
Well, we've got to stop waiting until somebody gets murdered before we do anything about this. This flipping and flopping is like a turning on a dime kind of thing. Now, the kind of thing that Jodi has, there's a book about it called I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. And I think that sums it up. Like, this is the kind of thing where somebody can love you, you're the best person in the world, you're my best friend 1 minute, and then you're Satan. I mean, it can go that fast, and somebody can turn against you. We've got to start doing something about this.
Drew, let me ask you.
Let me
ask you this.
Mark, go ahead.
I was listening to the mother's behavior, and while there's no evidence of drug use, I was substituting psychiatric problems for drug addiction. Just for a second, can you, who knows a little bit about drug addiction, can you rule that out? Can you rule that out at all?
Well, that's what, if you look at every of the, remember that Dr. Samuels was talking about the DSM-4 he had out, even though we're on to the DSM-5 now, we don't want to comment about that, but anyway, he had this diagnostic manual out there on the stand, and in there, at the bottom of every diagnostic block that they give you, they say, provided there's no evidence of a medical explanation, drug abuse, drug addiction, or drug withdrawal, because you can't conclude anything when somebody's doing drugs, but we keep hearing no drugs here. Judy, what about the flipping and the flopping? Borderline, no?
Absolutely borderline, Dr. Drew. And you know, the mom asked, are they going to do a psychiatric evaluation? Well, Mom, you should have taken Jodi for a psychiatric evaluation on your own. You're not going to nurse her back to health. It's not a cold. This is something serious, and the mom is completely uninformed about her daughter, yet she's getting all of these signs that she's completely crazy, and the defense is taking her journal like it's the encyclopedia, but it's from her perspective, and she is not well, Dr. Drew. She is not well.
And we could have had deep empathy for a Jodi Arias, but instead we end up having enmity and nothing else. Cheryl, were you trying to say something?
I was trying to say something, Dr. Drew, actually.
Well, Jenny, but before you do, I want to ask you directly this question.
Yeah.
Laying the blame at the foot of the parents, are we merely creating more Jodi Arias victims?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I look at these parents, and I feel empathy for parents who a kid turns into a murderer. It's like, on the one hand, you want to blame the parents when you hear this mother say things like, the friends were calling, she was calling, repeatedly. This isn't one time. So I question, how did this mother not go to her daughter, drag her in the car, and get her some help immediately? How did that not happen? That's strange to me. But I'm not in the house.
I'll tell you why. But Jenny, I'll tell you why, because I deal with this all the time. People go, oh, I don't want to hurt my relationship with my child. It's an adult child, mind you, so they don't have real control over these people. But listen, I've told parents 100 times, get a conservatorship. They're going to die if you don't do it. I guarantee they're going to die. I'm not usually worried about other people dying. I'm worried about them killing themselves.
But
and guess what? Go ahead, Jenny.
I was just going to say, but what's so sad about this, Dr. Drew, and you're right, exactly the advice that you give people is correct, but what's so sad is these parents think she did it too. These are parents who don't seem, they seem devastated, but not exactly shocked by the news.
Interesting. That tells you, I mean, Jenny, that is exactly the point. These tapes tell you everything you need to know. Now, next, you will not believe what Jodi's father says about his own daughter, and later we'll get the reaction of my jurors to these tapes of Jodi's parents. Is this a game changer in the court of public opinion? Be right back.
How are you doing? You doing okay?
I'm good. No.
As good as can be expected, I guess, huh?
Like I'm gonna puke. Why would she do something like that?
I don't know, and that's what I was trying to...
Just snap or what? I don't know. And then how could she come back here and be normal? And then when her friends called her and told her that he died, she totally freaked out. Like she knew nothing about it. I mean, how could somebody do that? How? I can't even think of it. How anybody could do that.
I think right there, Mark Eiglarsh, that is the tape of her mom being interrogated. Right there, the mom articulates why we're all watching this. How could she? How could she lie like that? How could she behave like that? It's hard to understand. But I'm going to tell you, tell me if I'm wrong. First thing you notice about those interrogation tapes of the mom, that's how an honest person responds to interrogation, no?
Well, of course. And the biggest adverse to this whole thing is La Violette, who's up there acting as if she's a witness to Jodi's life. Yeah. You would have thought that she was there in the room when this alleged domestic violence took place. You look at the mom, and you are absolutely right. Those are real emotions. That's a mother who knows her daughter.
And the confusion, too. I mean, that's the disbelief, the confusion. How does this all happen? And yeah, La Violette, for me, God bless her for putting up a great primer on domestic violence and whatnot, but I can't listen anymore. I hear nothing. I hear nothing because these tapes tell me everything I need to know.
Drew, here's what bothers me. What bothers me is not at one point that I watch all day today La Violette say, well, assuming what Jodi tells me is true, then the following.
Right.
She never said that, and anyone with credibility does that.
Hey, Mark, Samuel, same thing. Same thing. And then to me, that's really problematic. You got to go in. This is a liar. This is a known liar. You got to go in assuming everything is wrong. But I want to take a look, though, at Jodi's dad reacting to the overwhelming evidence against his daughter. Take a look at this.
Well, the evidence is pretty damning at this point. I mean, we have so much. I've never had this much evidence in a case before. I wasn't sure if she did it herself or if she had help with somebody, but she would not tell me. She absolutely just refused. And she's continuing to say that, no, I had nothing to do with it. And she's completely cold about it.
She's a strange person because after she left the house, you just kind of got a little strange. She was really friendly. Sometimes she'll call and real sweet. And 10 minutes later, she'll come and call in a rage.
All right, Behavior Bureau, we're going to go around the horn here, and you're going to tell me about what she was showing her dad that maybe she didn't show her mom that led him to say, my daughter was strange. Jenny.
Well, first off, his level of detachment, what looks to me like detachment from his daughter, is also upsetting. And again, I'm hesitant to blame the parents, but clearly this was not a high-functioning household. He, again, doesn't seem so shocked by the allegation. I think he's sad, but he's bolstering the prosecution's case.
Right, not only not sad, my daughter's strange. Yeah, you got the right person here.
Yeah,
Judy, what do you say?
Strange.
Well, Dr. Drew, her dad seems a little bit creeped out by his own daughter. I mean, he's afraid of his own daughter, don't you think? There's a little bit of a victim mentality there. And I think his dad saw the creepy side of Jodi, where Jodi's mom saw the emotionally volatile side of Jodi, where she would have these huge swings and act completely irrationally.
Yeah, Cheryl, I think that's what I learned. Judy brings up a really interesting point here. The poor dad does seem a little beaten down by his daughter. But Cheryl, I think mom saw what we call what I've learned from these tapes is mom saw the more borderline stuff, the chaos and the narcissism. Dad saw the more psychopathic piece.
I think you're right. I think that dad was not surprised that his daughter could do something this creepy. Mom, though, was a lot like Alice La Violette. her brain didn't go there because she's not a psychopath, and she was stunned. How could somebody act so normal after they do something like this? And it's like, when are people going to really get that mental health care is health care? If this were cancer, if this were a broken leg, if somebody were walking around with a huge gash, we would get them help. We wouldn't just say, oh, well, they don't want help, so they're going to walk around. It's like, we really have to get this together.
Yep, Cheryl said this before. We treat illnesses above the neck differently than below the neck, and we should not. Thank you, Behavior Panel, Behavior Bureau. Got to go. Got to break. Next up, the man who helped Jodi become a Mormon is going to be here again. He will answer this question. Did he see any signs of any of this when he talked to Jodi? And later, more on-tape confessions from Jodi's parents about their daughter's scary, bizarre, strange behavior.